Okay, I think I'm live on YouTube and on TikTok. Um, Apologies. This is like I've said many times, it's a bit like running a spaceship, so I have no clue what's going on. Okay, when I click something on the screen, oh shit. Is there a lag? Um, oh, I can see the live screen here, but I can't see it on this one. See if I go to explore. Why is there a delay? Apologies, I think there's a delay, which is not really helping, and I probably should have turned off. Main canvas, keyframe, no delay. I'm gonna come off camera while I fix this. Um, some transitions. Nice. I've been muted the whole time. I'm so sorry. Can you guys hear me now? Sorry. Oh, thank you so much for telling me that, Naomi. I don't know if that's the Naomi I know. I have a friend called Naomi. I don't know if that's her or not, but I'm so sorry, guys. When you're trying to run too many things at once, you don't even notice that your audio is muted. Hopefully, you guys can hear me now. I can see it kicking away in the background. So it'd be nice to actually join. I think my friend just messaged me about this as well. I'm live. My friend just messaged me saying I might not streaming on TikTok. Come and catch me. All right. Invite your friends. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm live talking about the hottest weekly social commentary and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just replying to a message. Again, so many things to juggle. Now, so this girl replied. Quick recap, obviously, for anyone that's just joined in. I'm talking about the tweet that shook um, X or Twitter, as his mom called it. Let's just call it Twitter. Oh, Topic just joined. Hello, Topic. Can you hear me? That's my dear friend Topic. I'm talking about the conversation that shook Twitter over the weekend. She's saying, "Hey, is my audio okay, Topic?" Nice, nice. She can hear me. All right, we're in. We're live. Let's go. All right. So this girl responded to the original tweet and said something like, "Not being funny. I feel like men exaggerate this. I honestly don't think the girlies out here being beggy like you claim they are." Now, like I said before, if you offered her a time machine and said, "Would you like to go back and not post this?" I feel like for the whole sisterhood, she probably would say yes. Because what ensued, what I'm about to show you, is probably the worst weekend for black women this whole year, easily. It might go back way further than that because people started to drop, as I'm going to get into now, which I'm not going to talk too much about the screenshots because I do have an angle here. I'm not just talking about Twitter topics for no reason. There's an angle here, so bear with me. People started to drop all their experiences of when women have been begging them for money, and it was not good. It was not, again, as a guy, obviously, this is something you're aware of, you know about, but when you say it, the initial reactions I showed you guys to the tweet is always what you hear, like, stop being broke. Why are you just trying to complain about spending money? Oh, I hate all these broke N words, just saying this and saying that. I don't know if I can say the N word on here. I've never streamed on TikTok before. I know TikTok is very strict nowadays. But it sounds like you just have to keep your feelings to yourself because we talk about these experiences as men between ourselves, but women don't realize. I won't say what we're going through. That makes us sound like some kind of crazy victims. But low key, what we're going through, like, this is what's happening. Like, if you're a man, your existence in so many women's eyes is literally reduced to what can you do for them. Now, of course, women will say like, well, a lot of men do the same thing. Like, a lot of men, if they're just after like a sexual connection, that's kind of the way they present it, and they don't really care about the person intrinsically. I take that point. But if there are men out here that are nakedly asking women for, I guess if you want to say the equivalent thing is sexual favors, apparently those things are equal now. I didn't make those rules, by the way. Um, if you post that, those men will also be roundly criticized by saying, "Bro, do you want to have some finesse to your game? Like, do you want to take it a bit more? Like, bro, what are you doing?" And this is something I've talked about a lot, which is that some of the reactions to it, this girl made a tweet which was very very pointed and true, which is like, if someone is doing this, they don't respect you. And it's the same thing for like a girl. Like if a guy just adds you or whatever on some social media or just meets you somewhere, and the first thing he's trying to do is just be like, oh, let's go, I don't know, have sex or whatever. Yeah, low key, he just looks at you and thinks, you're someone I can try that with. But the difference is that I feel like women have kind of made it in their head, like, and basically social media has kind of made it seem like it's okay for them to just do that. Because something along the lines of, well, we live in a patriarchal society, so because we do that, men have all the power. And so when you take something from a man, all you're really doing is just taking back the, the power that men already have. So you don't, if you think about it, it's actually a feminist argument, according to them. I would never make such a foolish argument because you're trying to reclaim some of the power that they have, and because men have a lot of that money through patriarchy and the gender pay gap and all these things, so actually they should be spending on you because as a woman, you're a oppressed gender who actually deserves that money. Which I promise you, if you've been on Twitter long enough, there's been all those things I've said have been things that people have said. I'm not talking about people just like people that have 2 followers and just some random people on the internet. I'm talking about pretty mainstream accounts. I've kind of put this string of arguments together and said, essentially, women deserve men's money because something along the lines of what I just said. Complete lunacy, like complete craziness, but it's actually very, very normalized. And I think what you see about all these things, it's not surprising as a guy because it's going to lead on to the other topic. Second topic I'm going to be talking about is having a boyfriend embarrassing now because it's kind of the norm to just look at men and just think of them as like, what is your value beyond providing me stuff? And even the women that are making the point that, oh, some of these men are being stingy. So you got to a point where people started to throw in all different kind of things. You have a guy saying, oh, this girl wanted me to take her on a date somewhere and she requested I book her an Uber, or I was chatting to this girl at Motive and we went to get food and she wanted me to buy her the food. Pretty innocuous, seemingly, situations. And you have some people actually pushing back saying, like, let me try and see if I can find that tweet. Because there was one in particular I wanted to tell you guys about, which is about the shard. There we go. So the guy actually deleted the tweet now because a lot of men started to criticize him. Uh, okay, I'm trying to find the original tweet. I can't find it. But a lot of men were criticizing the guy. And essentially, what happened with this tweet, which I have to narrate to you because I haven't got the original tweet up, is that this guy posted about how he tried to put his own in there. Everyone was having fun posting screenshots of, oh my God, women begging for money and begging for this and begging for that. This guy posted a tweet um, about how he was gonna go out with this girl on a date and he was gonna take her to the Shard, but then she requested that he book her an Uber to go to the Shard, in addition to obviously for the date. And he was posting that thinking like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like, she's asking for too much as part of the whole conversation. And a lot of men took issue with that. Like, no, 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 no. That's a completely reasonable request. And this guy said, the stingy niggas think it's their time to shine now. A Shard date requires Uber minimum for transportation. Now, a lot of people agreed with that. Like if I try and show you some of the other tweets about it, Shard on the first date and you got her in heels on the Windrush line. You put Shard in capitals like it's the Maldives. Complain about paying for Uber when you presented her with the Shard for the first date is nasty work. Uber would have been the cheapest part of the night. Proper on goal. Let me see if I can find any more from our favorites. Screenshots denied. Unless you're bringing packed lunch to eat at the reception. If the Shard is in the budget and Uber is in the budget. Shard money but no Uber money isn't adding up. Now, that was the majority of the reaction to that. And I felt like I was going insane. Because again, you have to understand the mentality behind these things is very important. And this is where I'm going to give you guys the guy's perspective. You guys can call it red pill, blue pill, green pill. It's just always illustrative to hear about what a guy is saying about these things. So if I just summarize the scenario, imagine a world in which, as a guy, you've asked a girl on a date with the full expectation that you're going to pay. That's fine. Like, the paradigm has shifted to the point where if you don't pay, you're a weirdo. I accept that. In fact, I'm congratulating women because it's actually very impressive to think about. Just 5 years ago, who's going to pay on a first date was a genuine Twitter. Maybe not 5 years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago. Who's going to pay on a first date was a genuine like Twitter conversation. Some people said he doesn't do what you do. Some people said as as a man this, as a woman that. That was a conversation. Now it's universally accepted that if you don't pay on the first date, you're weird. I agree with that. Like, despite all the things I'm saying on this place, my friends that know me will testify that when it comes to spending money on women that I like, it's not an issue for me. I'm just gonna put that out there. Obviously, you don't have to believe me or not, like, whatever. But that being said, you have to understand the mentality of like the entitlement. And I made a tweet which I'm gonna get to in a minute, which is like, as a guy, you invited a girl on a date. Let me try and find my angle here. Let me try and find the tweet I'm referencing here, because the tweet is quite important. Where's my mentions? I can't find my own tweet. There we go. Oh, the girl, she probably blocked me. I just get blocked for no reason on Twitter. Like, what did I do to these people? And so my point was, if you're someone, as a guy, your role is like to pay for these things. You're aware of that. It's the same way I would say like your parents are aware that it's their responsibility to take care of you. It's their obligation. It doesn't matter if you're not nice to them, if you swear at them, if you're mean to them. I mean, I guess obviously it can be a bit too much, right? Just because your parents have an obligation to do something for you doesn't mean you go around making it known to their face every day, like, yeah, but you have to take care of me. You have to do it because you just have to. You gave birth to me. It's your responsibility. You go, like, they're gonna get annoyed at you. No one likes that kind of entitled behavior. We still appreciate when people that are obligated to do stuff for us, our teachers, our doctors, our whatever it is, when they do the things that they're legally or social construct wise obligated to do. If your conversation about these things is always like, you're a man, you have to do it, therefore stop complaining about doing it, at a point, there's no one on the other end of that who's going to be like, okay, I'm going to take joy or pride in doing this. And so this girl made a tweet about, it was, I forgot, I didn't realize there was another tweet about some guy not buying £10 meal or whatever for this girl. I didn't see that tweet. But my point here is to say, like, if all you had to do was an even insignificant thing to show your interest in someone, let's say you're a girl, and my example here is like you have to pay £5 every time you're interested in a guy. Like you saw a guy you liked in a motive, in a club, in a bar, in a function, just go give him £5. I mean, a lot of us are making 100k on Twitter, so £5 is nothing to us. If you did that every time, but the person, even though you were unsure about how they feel about you, would it not get to a point where you'd be like, I actually don't want to do this anymore because the money is not the real issue here. It's the way it's making me feel. Like when you're always putting yourself out there, and like monetarily, that's what you do, right? Like if you're a guy and you like a girl, even if you guys are chatting, she might like you, you're not sure. You still have the responsibility, if you want to put it that way now, to pay for those dates because that's how you're showing your interest in her. Now, up until that point, the most significant investment in this relationship, situation, whatever, has been that monetary spend. She hasn't done anything reciprocal in that instance. And again, we accept that that's what the reality is now. But it does put you in an emotionally vulnerable position. Not because that money is significant, even though it might be. Even when it's insignificant, it's still an example of you putting more effort than she's put in. Now, imagine if on top of that, she's now saying, yeah, well, what are you complaining for? Just do it. You're a man. That's what you're meant to do. Even if the money was £1, it's going to get to a point where even if a homeless person asks you for £1, homeless people don't deserve your money. You might do it because you're nice. But imagine you're like, it's £1 for. It's £1. Why are you being broke for? It's only £1. I just need that to eat. Like, stop being cheap. You're gonna be like, are you fucking mad? On top of my money, like, who the fuck do you think you are? I can literally throw that pound in the bin. Yes, I could do that. But just because of the way you're talking, you're not getting it. Okay, you are not getting that money. Like anyone else can get that money. I can put it in the bin. I can throw it to a fucking bird to eat it. But because of your behavior, you're not getting. That's the way we feel. And I think what's lost in all of this is that women don't think deep down men have emotions. They just think we're just like robots. And all we have to do is perform our role. Like, your role is to do what I want. Just do it. Like, you can't even request some appreciation for that. You can't even politely say, like, I don't want to do that. You're forced into this role. Not only do you have to like do it, you have to also accept it, even when the person that you're trying to do it to is making it clear like they don't appreciate it. And so if I go back to the conversation about the shard stuff, which again I personally disagree with. Where can I find it? It's in my bookmarks, is it? Oh damn it. The shard conversation. And you think about that conversation based on what I just said. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I gotta search it, haven't I? Sorry about that. Shard. There we go. Now, a lot of these people were pointing out that like, let's use this tweet as a good example, which is like complain about paying for an Uber when you present it with the shard is nasty work. Now, apparently, their point here is that the shard is the cheapest part of the night. Just think about that for a second. And again, these are men saying this. The shard is the cheapest part of the night. Oh, hi Amina, how are you doing? Amina inspired me to actually start taking this a bit more seriously, by the way. So thank you. Um, the Shard is the cheapest part of the night. And again, I don't know. I've never been to the Shard. Like, I don't know, how much that is. I don't know how much the Uber will be because apparently she lives in Uxbridge, which I don't know London geography, so I couldn't tell you how much an Uber costs to go to Uxbridge to Shard. I drive everywhere. If the Shard is the cheapest part of the night, why can't she pay for it? In this reality, they're talking, I don't know what the mutual interest is. He's interested in her, she's interested in him. He's invited her on a date that everyone knows she's going to pay for. Now, if you let these people tell it, the shard is really expensive. If we say, well, I don't know, £200, apparently, again, I don't know. Let's say £200. And then the Uber is £50. So the relative, if you just use the money to measure the relative interest in the situation, he's willing to pay £200 to show his interest. And she has an option of A, paying £50 to show her interest, or paying zero and having paid £250. She's going to choose the option to pay zero and having paid the entire thing. And apparently, he's the unreasonable one for saying no. I feel like I'm going insane. What do you mean? I'm already paying 3 times what you're paying to show my interest. You could pay a quarter of that to show your interest. You're now doubling down and saying, actually, you can't pay that. And not only can you not pay that, if you can't pay that, it's a sign of you being broke and not deserving me. What? This is what we're dealing with as men. And surprisingly, a lot of the people saying this are also men. To me personally, I think this is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. Now, like I said in my response to this girl, um, if you imagine a world in which you meet someone, I'm sure everyone's kind of had that situation where you meet someone, you're interested in them, they're interested in you. Now, a lot of times we as men, we actually forget sometimes. Just a bit insight for women. A lot of men forget sometimes that we can also make women feel nervous. A woman can see you and be blushing because she thinks like you look so good, etc., etc. When you felt that way about a guy, is this how you would behave? Like if you know that your behavior could actually jeopardize the bond you and this person would have, would you still do this? So in this situation where this shard situation, if this woman thought that, or this girl, I don't know how old she was like, there's actually a chance that maybe this man could be my forever person. So this could be the person I'd love to spend the rest of my life with, or someone I would love to take seriously because this is a serious person, has their head screwed on, doing their own thing. If she felt that way about him, do you think she wouldn't pay the £50? I think she would. So more often than not, you can already tell like these people, like this girl said in her original tweet, like they don't respect you. Like if you're a man and you're watching this, I don't want to be the red pill person talking about like F4 women, blah blah. Nah, we love women here. Like we love them. That's not what it's about. But you have to also think about what they're willing to do for you, even in that early stage, is a reflection of how they feel about you. Now, if you're someone that you just kind of meet people to like date casually and stuff like that, you obviously can't expect that level of investment. But I think you should still go both ways, right? Because even if what you're after is a sexual relationship, sex is two people do it. Unless of course you're rubbish. If you're rubbish, then obviously fair enough. Maybe you can't expect too much. But if you know what you're doing, if you think about it, really, if you're being real, women enjoy sex more than men do. So it's not really like it's our thing to enjoy like that. The enjoyment aspect of sex, again, if you know what you're doing, is really for us probably 15-20% compared to I know there's an orgasm gap and all that stuff. Fair enough, innit? Fair enough. But even in those casual situations, the point stands is that you can't just be accepting that people can just do what they want, because if you dig down deep into the mentality of all these people, the kind of intellectual framework that supports the entitlement is basically, I'm a woman, so yeah, so like I can have it. No, I can't accept it. I'm not gonna lie, I cannot accept it. The idea that simply because you're a woman, you deserve these things. Again, if you're a guy, you don't have to be no like red pill person. Eventually, you're gonna be like, no, like I deserve stuff too. Like now they're gonna say like men are being sassy, it's a sassy men era, all that kind of stuff. Fair enough, fair enough. But there are people, like I said, like I'm someone that's talked quite a bit about having ADD, stuff like that. The kind of sensitivity that I don't know how many men have ADD. I don't want to start diagnosing people, but the kind of extra level of sensitivity that some men have that they deny themselves, which is like deep down, this doesn't make me feel good because there's no one that's going to be on the end of that. And that's why I made that tweet, about the £5 saying, If as a woman all you had to do was pay even £1 just to signal your interest in a guy, after you get rejected 2, 3 times, you're gonna stop doing it. Not because the £3 you spent is a lot, but because it hurts you emotionally. Like, it's actually tough to be rejected. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys realize that. Yeah, women don't really. They're not in the position to be moving to guys and be like, you know, putting themselves out there. But even when you spend an insignificant amount of money, even like spending £10 at a bar, the first thing you guys are talking about is like, £10 is nothing. Stop being broke. But let's break down the mentality. And again, I'm not saying this is all women, by the way, but this is part of the reason why a lot of men feel upset about this. Let's break down the mentality of spending £10 on a girl in a bar. Like, let's just break that down. You go out to a motive, having a good time, vibing, whatever. You see this girl that you wanna, chat to, approach. She looks good, you look good, everyone's enjoying themselves. You could chat to her, blah blah. Then she was like, no joke. So this happens. A girl literally is like, "Are you not gonna buy me a drink then?" What? Like, it's £10. But why would you say that to me? Like, why would you think you can just say to me, "Are you not gonna buy me a drink then?" As though like this is your birthright. And if I don't do it, but the worst part about it is you actually start to feel guilty as a guy if you don't do it. That's the worst part, because on the face of it, they're being completely ridiculous. Like, the entitlement of it is outrageous. But there's a part of you that actually feels a bit of shame if you don't do it, because it's expected of you societally to just essentially do what women want. So if a woman's gonna be like, "Are you not gonna do X for me?" You tend to feel a bit like, "Oh wow." Like, even if you don't really want to, you just end up kind of doing stuff. But then later on, all you do is just feel bad about yourself. And again, the money is not the significant part of it, like I just mentioned. The worst part of it is that you did something you don't really want to do. Nothing makes you feel worse as a person than doing something you really don't want to do. Because if you play the situation out, more often than not, especially if they're approaching you in kind of like a cantankerous, antagonistic way, you're gonna buy her a drink. You're gonna talk for like a minute or two. She's gonna go away with her friends, or some of them have the audacity to be like, "Are you not gonna buy my friend one too?" Oh God, oh God. Now, often heard about it before. Back in the day, I remember we used to say this: just because you buy a girl a drink doesn't mean she has to be with you the whole night, and that makes total sense. Theoretically, I understand it. Girls will even say stuff like, "Well, I buy my friends stuff all the time. You guys are just being so cheap. You can't even buy someone a £10 drink. I buy my girls this all the time." As though it's the same thing as though if you just buy a random stranger a drink. If you're a guy and you go out there and you keep on doing this, let's say every time you go out every weekend, all you do is spend £10 just to buy someone a drink. It's not even that much, £40. But let's say, for example, I'll use my example. Maybe not my example is the worst one, but when I go out, I don't buy drinks because I pre-drink before I get there. Like, I know if it's a bit cheap of me, but ain't no way. Oh, I got roses for the first time. Oh, thank you so much, whoever sent me that. I don't even know how those works or what they mean, but I really appreciate it. That's my first one on here. So thank you, for sending me that. Keep up, bro. Be you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna keep doing that. Now, I'm someone that when I go out, I don't buy stuff for myself. And I've only ever bought girls drinks twice in a club. Maybe I'll share that with you guys, since like I got 23 viewers now, I'm feeling myself a little bit. I want to share some of my low lights just to entertain you guys and amuse you. But I'll get to that in a bit. Now, if you're someone like me who doesn't buy drinks in a club, and all you did was just buy a girl one drink a weekend, and it goes the same way it always goes, which is like you buy the girl a drink. A lot of the time, I want to get into their mentality. You have to be comfortable with the fact that, again, it's not all girls, but you're comfortable with the fact that when a girl leaves the house to go out to a club, to a motive, whatever it is, and again, this is not all women, but there's a sizable percentage of women out there who are leaving the house and they're thinking, "I'm going to go to this place and someone's going to buy me a drink." Now, again, this is not red pill stuff. We love women here, so don't be misconstruing my content. If you're watching this thinking like, "Yeah, F all those," no, 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 we love them. But let me just give you guys the story, yeah? If a girl's moderately attractive, whatever it is, she's going to your DLTs, your whatever, thinking it would be nice if a guy bought me a drink and I enjoyed that. If you're then one of those people that you buy those drinks because, I don't know, whatever, you just wanted to, that means in her story, what you were was like an entertainment enhancer. Like your value in that situation doesn't go beyond just being the person that provides the entertainment. Like that's it. That doesn't make you feel good. Like it just doesn't. So back to the story. If you're one of those people like me, goes out, doesn't buy drinks, just kind of does his own thing, you know, I don't drink. Like I said, when I go out, by the time I get there, I'm already drunk. Or I don't drink at all because I drive sometimes, so I'd rather not. You have to be comfortable with the fact that if you're spending £10 a week, just every Saturday night you go out, just buying one girl a drink, calm. You spent £40, insignificant amount of money in a month, I guess, but you spent none of that on yourself. So every time you've been out, all the money you spent has been on someone else. How long can you keep doing that for before you realize, am I a mad person? Like, what am I doing? Why am I spending money on other people? That's not even me. It brings me no entertainment, no value, other than I'm a guy and I have to perform this role. It gets to a point where you're like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And so, if you again, that's an example. It might then get to a situation where even insignificant amount of things, if you view yourself as someone who you feel like you're being taken advantage of, essentially, you're not going to want to do that anymore. But paradoxically, there's other people out there you might meet where like you're just chatting to them. If you're chatting to a girl in a whatever, etc., etc., and she's like, "Oh, let's go to the bar," and you're like, "Oh, I don't drink," you just respect that and be like, "That's just not for you." But like the obligation to have to do it because you're a guy and that's your role, I'm sorry, you have to reject it. Like anything that's not into what you want to do. Same way, like if a girl's like, "Oh, I don't want to go home with you," that's the end of it, bro. Like you can't make people do what they don't want to do. Like whatever it is that you feel like doing, you should do. But like the idea that there's now an expectation for you to do stuff that you don't want to do. It just goes back to this: people that respect you. Like if you met someone at a night out as a girl and you met this guy, he's exactly your type. You guys are vibing. You guys are having a good time. Now you could, if he bought you a drink, it would suggest like he's actually into you as well, which is great. But there's no way you will fix your mouth to tell someone that you're actually interested in. Are you not going to buy me a drink then? The only people you'd say that to are people you have no respect for. So as a guy, again, you have to be comfortable with the fact that if a girl is severely hinting that, why are you not buying me a drink? 99% of the time, it's because she doesn't respect you. And she's like, again, in her story, when she left the house, there's going to be some people in this place that are going to buy her a drink for her own entertainment. That's you. That's your role in her story. Just like a court jester. Like I have a king. You might have like a circus and the clowns. Like their value is not beyond entertaining the king. Like they have no opinions. They have no thoughts. No one cares what their story is. All they are to the king is just entertainment. You have to be comfortable with the fact that that's your life in someone else's story. And I'm sorry, anyone that has any self-respect is gonna start rejecting that and be like, no, I'm more than that. And I don't just owe you something because you're just a woman and you just exist. Like outrageous. So that is the summary of these situations. I think definitely, to me, interest should go both ways. And when you start dating someone very early on, money is the primary way you show you're interested in people. Because obviously words, people can say words to anyone. Words are cheap. Putting your money where your mouth is. Like if I'm going to go on a first date and spend, obviously you have to spend back at the same time. But I better not find you talking about, yeah, you should have done that. Huh? Impossible. Like I do not care anything anyone calls. Tell my story. Oh, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'll tell you guys. I got 29 people in here. I'm really feeling myself at this point, and I am known as somewhat of an oversharer, so I might regret this. But I'll tell you one of the stories. I won't say this is a story that radicalized me, but it does make you reflect again on your what role you play in someone else's story. Which, if you care about those kind of things, which I'm not gonna lie, I do, it can make you even more sick with yourself. Like if you just think about the fact that when you just deep a situation later and be like, oh wow, that person said that to me because low key they thought I was a waste man. You just start screaming like you just be like 12 a.m. in your room. You're like, what? They actually thought I was a waste man. Like they did not rate me. That's literally what you're thinking, and that can make you just crash out and just be like, you know what? From this moment on, this is never happening to me again. I'll tell you guys a story. I went out. This is like 2019. Was this like was this last year? It might have been last year or 2 years ago, probably 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly what the location was. I think it was Lower Third actually. If you're familiar with London going out, you might have heard of the Lower Third. If you want to park in for the Lower Third as well, let me know. I have a spot that we can park in Lower Third. I look out for you guys because me, I'm getting a parking ticket. Is I'm allergic to them, so if you need a spot parking for the Lower Third, let me know. Anyway, that's incidental to the story. So I went to this motive, having a good time, we're vibing. Me and one of my close friends went. I saw this girl. I'm not gonna lie, she was bad. Like she was bad. My type, like looking good, etc., etc. Started vibing with her. We're talking, talking, talking. Again, in my defense, before I get into this story, I feel like I have to explain. This was before Okay, there's no need for excuses. Let's just get into it. It was 2 years ago. Should I just bear that in mind? So me and the girl were vibing, blah blah. She literally said the words to me like, "Oh," like she was like, "Oh, I want to drink. Let's go to the bar." Again, I don't drink when I go out, but there's a feeling, and I'm sure a lot of guys will agree with me here. There's an obligation when a girl says this to you, even if like, let's be honest, manners wise, she's showing no manners and she's just being extremely rude by telling you this. But you just feel this weird. I don't know if guys, if any guys in the comments agrees or disagrees with me. Am I the only guy that's ever felt that? Like a girl asks you like, "Are you not gonna buy me a drink?" or "Let's go to the bar get a drink," and you just feel guilty slash shy slash. Again, I'm quite a sensitive person, so maybe that's part of the reason I've been feeling that. But we go to the again. Who sent me? I don't know. But when you start seeing the things you like, you're not thinking straight. We got to the bar. I asked her like, oh, I asked her the thing. I was like, what do you want? Tequila shots. Tequila's fun. You're putting the salt. You're licking it. You're getting all using your tongue already. You get what I mean? Okay, fair enough. So I said to her, oh, would you like tequila? She was like, tequila? She was like, nah, nah, nah. I only drink Hennessy or something like that. Eh, Hennessy, okay. I turned to the lady at the bar. Oh, how much is Hennessy? Even I feel like even that lady felt embarrassed with me. I feel like the way she looked at me, I feel like she could kind of tell, like, bro, what are you doing here? Like, she probably felt like I was like a younger brother and she should save me or something. But obviously, she can't just be, she has to mind her business, innit? So she was like, oh, Hennessy shots, like tequila shots were like £5. Hennessy was like 15. What do you mean £15 for a shot and a mixer? Like these are numbers I've even heard of. Because again, I don't drink in a club, bro. If you're telling me this costs this costs, this is all news to me. By the way, she was like, "Oh, Hennessy's £15." Okay. Then this girl's friends come as well. She was like, "Oh, I get one for my friend as well." As you can probably imagine, I did it. So I got the drinks now. I didn't even buy one for myself. Because when you're spending £30, same price as a bottle of tequila, bro, exactly. You can buy tequila and the lime and the what else do you use tequila? Tequila and the salt for bloody £15. Like, and really have a good time. Arriba and all that stuff. So um I bought it now. I didn't even buy one myself. If I'm spending £30 on a drink, I'm okay to not drink. Okay, we're hungry, but we can manage our hunger. Okay, okay, I manage my thirst. Then we left the bar now. I saw my friend. We're just talking, 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 and instantly the energy just kind of changed. Again, you can't be forcing people to chat vibe with you if they're ready to go. Cool. Then she kind of moved away, left, and I was just driving home like with my friend, and I was just thinking, what just happened to me? Like the only way to understand that situation was like this girl looked at me and she was like, "This is the kind of not too confident, has a bit of tiny change to spend person that I can use for my means." That's exactly what I was in that situation. It's fine. It's fine. Now, moving on from that situation, I get again, I then thought to myself, if I'm going out to have a good time and I'm not even spending money on myself because I'm not gonna lie, yes, I'm being cheap, so I'm gonna pre-drink and make sure I've had enough before I got there. If I go and buy a girl a drink, that means the only money I'm spending in this place is not even on myself, it's on someone else. Because they're pretty, because they look good, because I want to impress them. Could it work? It cannot work. Okay, like it gets to the point where I would just feel bad about myself because If I felt a genuine conviction to do that because whatever the vibe was, then fine. But if I even feel a small intimation of like, I don't want to do that, I'm not gonna do it because one thing I'm not gonna let you do to me is make me do stuff I don't want to do. That's just like confident people, people that feel good about themselves don't behave in that kind of situation. And again, going back to what you can see on the screen, anyone that respects and rates you will not be asking you these questions. It doesn't matter if it's because you can't afford it because you have £1 million or £1 billion. If someone actually genuinely respects you as a human being, like we all know what's nice to do to a human being and what's not. Like if you meet a stranger somewhere, even in a non-club, non-going out setting, there are certain things you wouldn't ask them to do for you because you're like, I don't even know this person. Just a common like decency and respect kind of thing. The fact that they're asking this of you means they don't respect you. And I'll be damned if no one respects me. You might not find me attractive, you might think I'm whatever, but you're gonna not look at me and think like this is someone I can just take advantage of. So that's my story. That's what radicalized and red pilled me. I won't say I'm proud to say, but since then I haven't really bought a girl that's drinking. Also, what you start to also realize is that again, if you're someone that they're actually attracted to and someone that they look like, okay, I feel like this guy, I can respect this guy because whatever, maybe how he looks or whatever like that. They're not going to be asking you this foolishness. There has been a couple of times where girls have kind of been like, "Oh, let's go to the bar," and I just say like, "Oh," just trying to be polite, like, "Oh, yeah, I don't drink. If you want to go and buy a drink after that, what's my own?" It's like if there's a situation where if you're confident in yourself, you don't feel like you have to use that to impress them because if they go, this place is full of women, bro. Like that's just one. Like it's okay. She can do her thing. You don't have to. Well, you're not wedded together. Like if that's like a sticking point for you, you feel like if you and I are talking in a function, and because I won't buy you a drink, you're not going to talk to me anymore. Honestly, I respect it so much. And what I love about that is that you're doing what you want to do. Let everyone do what they want to do. Like you want to do that. That's your personal constitution, bruh. Me, I respect women like mad. So I even love the fact that you're very strong and independent. You want to do what you want to do. Don't even talk to me after that. That's fine. I want to talk to someone else. This place, like I said, this place is full of women. You can easily find another woman for you, like just to have a good time, blah blah blah. Paradoxically, though, when you do that, they actually respect you more. Like I remember, I went out not too long ago. Um, this was in the summer, and I was dancing with this girl. Again, I'm oversharing like mad on this place, but I'm up to 34 viewers, so you can see why I'm doing it. And I'm dancing with this girl. It was a good. That movie was good. Like it was a good. Let me not smile too much. It was a great time. And this girl dancing now, we're having a good time, and she's like, "Oh, let's go to the bar." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not drinking." And she was like, "Oh yeah, but I want to drink." I think she said it a bit more direct than that because I swear I remember saying no. I shocked myself. And I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't use that." I was like, "Oh no." And as soon as I said that, I just unhanded her because I was like, "Bro, if it's a situation where this is how you're feeling, like let me just go ahead and unhand you now. Like fair enough." Then she kept on dancing with me. And I was like, "Oh, I guess it is that simple." I guess it is that simple. Then like you can just say no because the outcome and what's going to happen off the back of that is not even relevant. So that's the summary of that story. If you feel sorry for me, follow my page and grieve with me so you can see more of this live stream stuff. I'm really enjoying this. It's been 50 minutes and I've only done the first topic. I need to get a move on. So that probably actually leads me on to the next topic, which is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? Now, like I said when I posted this on my Instagram, sometimes as a social commentator slash journalist slash anthropologist that I am, you have to find topics to talk about. Sometimes they fall into your lap. Now, this is an article written by Shantae Joseph, who I don't want to try and latch onto her fame now, but I remember from yesteryear when her and I used to be in the same. Is it Paris? Not Periscope. What's the one I used to do? Core House. Was Core House? Live House? What's the thing that we used to all talk about in the pandemic? We used to always just be in there, just ranting and raving at each other. Clubhouse. Core House. Clubhouse. Her and I have been in Clubhouse rooms together from yesteryear, and she made this post about is having a boyfriend embarrassing now, which I thought was very, very interesting. So I wanted to dissect that. Wait, I just saw the first comment on the post. Female focus is embarrassing. That's hilarious. So I want to dissect this a little bit. Talk about my initial thoughts. I'm not going to read the whole thing because come on, anybody doing that nowadays? Let me just make sure I'm still here. Again, if I have any audio problems, do please let me know because I can't see it, but I think I should be fine. Now, she goes on to talk about how essentially the summary of the whole story is that like being seen with a man, associating with a man, it's become so embarrassing that you almost kind of have to apologize as a woman for having a boyfriend. Apparently, this is her reality. I'm not a woman, so I'm not really talking to women who are embarrassed about their boyfriends and stuff like that. I imagine that's something that happens in probably online spaces. She says, "There's nothing I hate more than following someone for fun, only for their content to become my boyfriendified suddenly." So, as in, like, when people start getting in relationships, start posting a lot of couple stuff, which I'm not gonna lie, do not let me get in a relationship. All this socio-political commentary that we're doing, I'll still be doing it, but let me tell you now, the kind of couples challenges you'll be seeing, I will be oppressing you guys so much. I'm just telling you guys now, right now, I'm gonna oppress you guys in my relationship so hard. Anyone that's complaining about couples, this couples, this, I'm really talking about politics, just like kissing my girlfriend, coming back and be like, oh yeah, oh, isn't it crazy that Russia's gonna invade China? Oh, babe, give me a kiss. I'm more, ah, let me not think too far ahead. But please, just know now, you're gonna be sick of me. You're not gonna be. I think you're gonna love it. Women love that kind of content. So I'm gonna try and find a way to blend it or do something separate. But I do have couples content ideas on my mind. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Um, so she says, more recently, there's been a pronounced shift in the way people showcase their relationships online. A hand on the steering wheel, clinking glass at dinner, back of someone's head. Because it's talking about, how like, oh, when you post a man, it's gonna embarrass you, blah blah blah. But she goes on to talk about how there's a funny tweet about how having a boyfriend makes you lose your aura, which I thought was hilarious. Um, okay, here we go. Some fair evil eye, a belief that their relationship will spark a jealousy so strong it could end it, etc., etc. But the overwhelming sense from single and partnered women alike that regardless of the relationship, being with a man was an almost guilty thing to do. Haley and Jazz, they discuss whether having a boyfriend is lame now. Why does having a boyfriend feel Republican? Boyfriends are out of style. Having a boyfriend typically takes hits on a woman's aura. I must say, it's actually entertaining that women can talk like this. This is really funny. Um, Let me try and find the. Let's get to the brass tacks of this conversation. Being partner. Well, I can't find. I should have highlighted. I don't know why I didn't just highlight what I was going to talk about essentially. But the point the author's trying to make here is that like women are being red pilled into being embarrassed about wanting to be partnered up with someone, be coupled up with a man. I guess if it's a woman, it's okay. Um, and she's kind of thinking that like it's kind of inverted because obviously men's red pill content is about more violent stuff, more kind of hating women, blah blah blah. Whereas you do see a lot of content around online that you know paints men as primitive barbarians who have no emotions, are just meant to do what they're told because they have the emotional intelligence of like a 5-year-old. And so anything that's seen to be associating with you actually see tweets online now where if a woman says something that's like ridiculous and the man is like and the man quotes it and says something that's like correct or just disagrees with her. If a woman agrees with a man, she has to preface it by saying something like, I don't want to be called a pick me. I don't want to seem like I'm being a man obsessed. There has to be qualifiers around the fact that just agreeing with a man on a basically a common sense statement is seen as something ridiculous or like seen as like outrageous, like you're a woman hater basically if you agree with anything a man has to say. And I think I imagine that bleeds into this whole situation of like, oh, it's embarrassing to be seen to have a boyfriend because how dare you actually have romantic attraction to a man? Like, aren't men meant to be like primitive barbarians? Like, they don't have emotional depth enough to fall in love. Like, what are you doing? So that is the backdrop to this conversation, and I thought it was interesting because for the longest time, obviously, it's been recognized that men can fall victim to what you call red pill content, or just call it like online socialization, which is like if as a guy, all the kind of content you see is like women are out here to exploit you. Again, I've just spent the past 45 minutes talking about women potentially exploiting you. Maybe I'm contributing to the red pill content, maybe. Um, Obviously you're gonna start to feel a bit guarded, feel more protected. You might feel somewhat defensive, like if it's just a situation you're just taking a girl out and paying, you start to feel like, oh, am I doing this because she's trying to take advantage of me? Whereas it's just a date you're just gonna go enjoy. Like, don't overthink it, bro. But at the same time, you've also had like for the past, I don't know how many years, but there's been so much conversation around how again, men are just primitive barbarians. You know, you have like, oh, even man can be derogatory. Like sometimes when a woman's being ridiculous, you might even hear someone say like, oh, this is what men do to us, as though women aren't independently able or capable of doing those things. And anything that's bad about how a woman behaves has to be linked to what a man has taught them, what they learned from a man. Like badness cannot originate just from women of their own volition. And obviously, what I think will be the obvious end product to that, I've said obvious twice, is that women are going to start to feel the way they feel, in, as summarized by this article, which is like they are starting to view men in that way. And I think a lot of the romantic dating conversations I see, I genuinely think a lot of it comes from a lack of regard for how men feel. So when I made that tweet, when I was giving the example earlier about, sometimes people obsess about the insignificance of the gesture, which is like, oh, it's just an Uber, or it's just £5, it's just a drink at a bar. But what that does, and if you play that the other way around, if you're a woman and all you're doing is keep putting yourself out there, and someone keeps showing a lack of regard for your emotions, you're gonna start feeling raw about it eventually, right? Um, and so she's kind of saying some similar things here, which is like it's surprising that, oh, having a boyfriend seems embarrassing now, but it's actually not surprising at all. It's actually a very predictable outcome to the conversations we've seen over the last few years. Which again, I would disagree with it if it was men doing it as well, because obviously every human is in and of themselves extremely complex and emotionally sensitive. Reducing people down to just their gender and saying they just behave this way because they're men or they're women is always completely ridiculous. Like something like children would do because they don't have a grasp of, again, how complex individual people can be, and flattening people to just what men do or what women do is completely ridiculous. Um, but it's also comforting that women can actually finally admit that, oh yeah, constantly consuming content that just portrays men as the worst beings in the world, and you know where would you rather go by a gorilla's jungle, or be left alone with a man, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it gets to a point where when you do that all the time, a lot of people start to believe it, and you also start to believe it yourself. And so when you actually like a man, you're like almost surprised that you do, and you're embarrassed, as this article was saying, like, oh, I can actually like these primitive barbarians that I've been, vilifying and saying negative stuff about this whole time. Again, I'm not crying tears for men and saying, "Oh my God, we're so oppressed because people say bad things about us." But it just shows you again, like those things do have an effect. She mentioned again. I think some of the tweets have come off the back of this. If I can try and find them, mentioned the emergence of people like Sprinkle Sprinkle and all these people like that, where a lot of their content is tailored around like how can we exploit men to our advantage as much as possible. Again, those kind of tweets contribute to these kind of, in my opinion, these kind of situations, because if all you view men as, yes, is like people you can potentially exploit, take advantage of, because really and truly they're not really as emotionally intelligent as you are. Not because like you're just a uniquely emotionally intelligent person, but basically you're a woman, they're a man, so they're just dumb. That's literally a lot of what the conversation boils down to nowadays. And if you start to feel that way about those people, yes, of course, the people that you're gonna think you're gonna eventually love, you're not gonna feel that way about. But when you do get to the situation where you're meeting people that you actually like, you might start to question, like, oh, this doesn't quite go with, the idea that I've been told about, like, this is what men are and this is what they do and this is what we should view them as. And so this girl, I think, had a very good, astute tweet, which is like, I'll read the whole thing. I say this with love, girls. I'm not saying the extent of your kindness should be experienced by every man you meet, but please get it out of your head that you can withhold consideration and care and still be seen as someone worth being with. The internet is lying to you. And I think that's a very astute point. Which, again, if you go back to, I love how all these things come full circle. Back to the original conversation I was having at the start about the shard situation, which a lot of guys were also actually pillaring the guy for, which is if the guy is willing to extend consideration, whatever you want to call it, to plan a really nice date that's going to cost X amount of money, and the woman is willing to withhold her consideration and say, because you're doing this and because you're a man and I'm a woman and I look good, you should be willing to do even more while I do less. What do you think people are going to get from that? And so this girl was right in saying like you're deluding yourself if you think I can just have it all my own way and meet someone that's the most generous, the most nice, the most all those things, and I can just put as little as possible into that. There's nothing wrong with going hard like up front and then it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Again, it's harder to it's easier said than done because obviously men are very used to doing that. Like even if the money is insignificant, which is, sometimes it's not, but like if you go on, I don't know, 2 dates a month. Let's say you're actively dating and you're trying to meet someone, trying to find someone, and you spend London's expensive, so let's say you spend £70 a date. Let's just say that £70 a date. You go on 12 a year and you didn't meet anyone. £840. It's not a huge amount of money in a year, but I mean, as my mom always says, I'd rather have that money than not have it. Right? Actually, I came up with that phrase, but it's a very good way to think about these things. Even if it's not a lot, I'd rather keep it and have it to myself. So if that's the amount of effort you've put in the year to try and meet someone, and what they've said is like, well, you're a man, so you should be doing that. That's 12 times which not only have you spent that money, 12 times you've been rejected, you've been turned down, or you haven't met someone that you've worked with and stuff like that. It's only it comes it's gonna come a matter of time. You're gonna be like, actually, you know what? Why am I investing so much into this when I'm not getting anything out of it? And so if you're someone like, as a woman, you feel like, well, you might even hear some women say this, until I get into a relationship, I'm not going to be doing all that serious stuff, all that this, all that. Whoa, hold on, hold on. Then why should I be doing it then? Like, you can't just not be doing anything and then I'm doing all the effort. Like, even from if the money is insignificant and you have it, you're going to start to wonder, does this person actually like me? Because people that like you, it becomes obvious if you like and worry about the fact that you might actually lose this person if you don't do these things, then you actually want to do it. But if you just feel like if I lose them, if I don't really care, then you're going to be behaving in these ways, which is like, yeah, it's their responsibility to do that, so I'm not going to touch it. Yes, I could just transport myself to my own date like a grown adult, but no, I'm not going to do that because, yeah, he should do it, and if he doesn't do it, then someone else will. All right, fair enough then. So I thought this tool was very useful. And I think more people seem to be, hopefully, maybe it's like a watershed moment where people are starting to realize that actually, you know what, it's always actually kind of nice to give what you want. Like if you want this, and again, this doesn't have to be in a serious situation. Like even in a casual, if you want to say that situation, like you can reflect on the fact that that other person is also a human being, and yes, men do have feelings too. Oh, by the way, my streaming topic is gaming. I didn't realize that I should put it in news and events. Clearly, it hasn't affected me so much, but I just changed it. Hope that doesn't mess up my stream. But yeah, that was my takeaways from that. So hope you guys are reflecting on that. I can see a lot of women in this chat. Hope you guys are reflecting on some of your behaviors. No, I'm joking. I'm sure you guys are all nice, considerate people who try to give as much as they get and all that lovely stuff. So that is probably the bulk of the social part of this conversation. There are some political things. Well, I say it's political, social-political. I want to get into. I feel like when you're on a work call and it gets to a point where they want to start going into details. So they're like, "Yeah, feel free to drop now." I mean, don't drop, but I'm going to wrap up pretty soon because I've been going for over an hour and I am going out today. Actually, I'm going to some Halloween stuff. I don't know if it's Halloween. It's a dress-up party, so I'm going to be going to that. So I do have to wrap up pretty soon. But obviously, I talk a lot about what the country is going to look like in a few years. And I think reform, given that reform is going to be one of the biggest political groups, political parties, maybe even Nigel Farage might be prime minister, it's always important to understand what these people really care about. They talk a lot about identity. We have too many immigrants here. There's too many Muslims. There's too many black people. Blah blah blah. If you're someone that's just learned about politics for the first time, or you're just kind of watching me and you haven't really got into politics, a simple rule of thumb for you is ignore what these people actually saying on TV, whatever. Not ignore because obviously it does matter if they're coming out saying like let's kill all black people. You can't just be like I'm gonna ignore that. But like what you need to think about and focus on is their policies. What do they have in mind if they were running the country? What's their plan for the country? Which brings me to this article right here. This is one of Reform's MPs. They don't have that many, by the way. They only have like 4 MPs in the whole country. This is what he's saying. Councils spend more than £2 billion on special needs transport. This is not sustainable. And you also had a reform councillor. I did a story about it, basically talking about like let's cut the amount of money we spend on transporting vulnerable children to school. Just think about that for a second. And his suggestion was, let's bring it down. Let me try and find a story because you have to see this to believe it. Reform Councillor Warwick. I just got a message. Someone about to tell me for being online. One moment. Oh no, I can't find the story now. Actually, I think I bookmarked it, didn't I? Let me try and see if I can find it in my bookmarks. Um, Essentially, the person, this counselor, is talking about how we spend so much money in our council transporting people to school. Look at my bookmarks, just politics, politics, politics. This is why I'm able to bring you guys the latest and greatest on what's going on in the world, because this is what I do. I don't do this because of, I do this for you guys, but obviously I enjoy doing this as well. But this is just politics. All my bookmarks is just stories I need to do. And I can't find the story I'm looking for, which is a bit sad. Oh, this is, oh, come on. I'm like that. Found it. This is a letter this reform councillor wrote to. He's a leader of the Warwickshire City Council. Now, if you live in Warwickshire, this might be important to you. Look what he wrote here. He said, basically, oh, we spend so much money transporting 10,000 students to school. The budget has increased by from 17 million to 50 million. This is the key bit here. Analysis undertaken by my officer suggests that increasing the statutory distance by 1 mile, we could reduce our eligible cohort by 8%. And if it was increased by 2 miles, the reduction will be approximately 16%. So what's this idea for we're spending so much money on trying to get vulnerable young children to school? Oh, why do we make it harder? So that means less of them qualify and we save money on doing it. This is what reform has in mind for you. Now, it's interesting in this article. It didn't mention like, well, let's do that for the British kids, and then the non-British kids can, British kids can, still have the same rights, but the non-British kids can have less rights because we really care about Britain and we care about British nationals and all the white British Celtic pure blood, blah 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 blah. He's willing to do it to everyone. He could have said, why don't we just get more money so we can make sure that these children are able to continue to go to school and we can fund this sustainably? No, 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 no. Why would you ask for more money to help and make people's lives better? What are you talking about? How about we make their lives worse, but we can save money, and then we can actually have a press conference saying reform councillor saved 40 million pounds from budget of the council, saving money, saving money. We're going to save money by making the lives of vulnerable children more difficult. This is something we should be proud of, apparently. Now, I've always said, if we can't afford to send our children to school or feed them, why do we exist as a country? If you're talking about, oh, we want to feed hungry children, where are we going to get the money from? If you can't have money to feed children, we might as well just disband the whole country. This is the plan reform has in mind for the country. Look beyond their flying the flag nonsense and reform loves identity politics, but doesn't mean we have to play with them. This is their real plan for the country. Cut everything. Misery, like even children are not, they're not exempt from the pain they plan to cause this country. If you're someone that's been focusing a lot about the identity stuff, or you hear a lot of people talking about it, just kind of show them stuff like this. Peel away the identity and all those kind of, oh, we want to get, cut, spending on of benefits to vulnerable, to migrants and all that kind of stuff, so we can save money. You think so we can save money and look after all the people in our country more? No, 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 no. We want to cut that so we can probably give tax benefits and tax breaks to some of the richest people in the country. Meanwhile, we want to make it that kids have to walk to school over a longer distance. These are the kind of people that exist. Like, not only do these people exist in our societies, they're the leaders. Oh, thank you, Tyrone, for following me. Appreciate you. Appreciate that very much. Oh, I follow this guy. I didn't realize who it was. It was actually Tyrone I follow on Instagram. Not only are these people in our society, some of the worst human beings in our society, they're also the leaders of our society. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you live in this council, you're thinking, oh, reform, such a nice alternative to the Tories and the two-party system. Then the first thing they tell you is, have you considered making your child walk even longer to school? By the way, this is not like Romford and, Streatham and all these places that have good bus links and all these things. I don't know why I put Romford in there. I live in Romford, by the way, that's why. This is Warwickshire, which is
It's meant to be a rural place on purpose. I don't know if I can find, look, the rural nature of county councils. They're rural places on purpose. So this is already going to be hard for these children anyway. Now we're going to increase the distance even more just to make their lives pain. Why are we going to do that? So we can have a press conference and talk about how we're the responsible party because we're cutting spending to the most vulnerable people in our society. Thank you so much, Nigel Farage. I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so happy for you. This is amazing. Thank you so much. This is an insight into what he plans to bring to our country. All right. I'm gonna, like I said, wrap up shortly. Let's go into finally something I've been talking about a lot, which is obviously Israel. Like I've been talking about Israel all the time, all these kind of things, and I've been saying like the kind of domination that they enjoy over speech in this country and speech everywhere can't last very long. But now you're starting to see that. I can't even find the article I'm looking for now. But there was essentially a tweet where this guy, and it's significant because this guy used to be in. I can't find the tweet now. My tweet, my bookmarks are full of Twitter topics. Essentially, this American politician, no, politician's son, was complaining about how the fact that Israel has too much influence in America. And I thought that was really crazy, but I can't find the tweet now, so I can't really talk about it. So I'm going to move on to Venezuela. Now, obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the kind of demonic behavior that the US is doing in Venezuela. Like, one of the most serious crimes, like, if Gaza wasn't going on, this might be the biggest story happening right now in terms of like geopolitics. Let me kind of summarize this very quickly because what have I got here? Oh, this is the last thing from when Trump said something. Let me try and find the article very quickly. There was an article that said that Trump was going to try and start bombing Venezuela directly, but you also had the Nobel Prize winner Maria Machado. Now think about people winning the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, no less. You're thinking like, if I'm winning the Nobel Peace Prize, I mean, I must be better than who's a peace guy in the last 100 years, like MLK, Gandhi, all these people, because it's a Nobel Peace Prize, right? So peace should be your primary goal, your primary concern, what you advocate the most. Let's have a look at the kind of things that our Nobel Peace Prize winners are saying in 2025. Venezuelan Nobel laureate backs US military strikes against our own country. Can you imagine if Nigel Farage was like, please, US, send Tomahawk missiles to blow up our country so you can save us from Keir Starmer? Are you mad? What do you think would happen if Nigel Farage was openly colluding with a foreign country to overthrow our government? He would get arrested so fast. This woman's not been arrested. She's free to roam around Venezuela because if Maduro was to arrest her, this would be the perfect pretext the US needs to go in there and start murdering people, which they've already been doing, by the way. She's endorsing military escalation against her own country to kill her own citizens, the citizens that she's going to go and apparently govern to bring peace to the country and unite everyone. She's even defending the fact that the US has been murdering people off the coast of Venezuela and in the Pacific for the last, I don't know how many months or years, how many months, sorry, past couple months. Now I've said about this bombings that if let me try and find a video of this grotesque bombing so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Like, I hate to show this kind of stuff. It's not gonna be gory stuff, so don't worry about that. But like, US blows ships. Like, this is the kind of murderous behavior we're witnessing. Where's the video? This is a video. Like, this is a ship just sitting here chilling, minding its business. Probably a fishing boat, most likely a fishing boat. And watch what's gonna happen very shortly. Like, these are demonic people. These are demonic people. Boom, just murder everyone on board. Now imagine if they'd boarded that boat and started to shoot people. Everyone will be like, oh my god, what are we watching? But we've got to the point, reform's gonna cook us, you're right, man. They're gonna put us in a blender. Sorry, I forgot, I didn't see that comment when you posted it earlier. We've got to a point where murder on the high seas is normal because we're using bombs. So if you reflect a bit on what that means, the world is such that if you use bombs to decapitate people, because that's what bombs do. When someone gets blown up, they don't know where their head is, from their arm, from their leg. Everything's sent in different directions. If we use that to decapitate people like we've done in this video, that's fine. We murdered some folks, as Obama would say. If we went on there and started shooting them hand to hand, face to face kind of thing, this would be the worst thing we've ever seen. So the improvement we've seen in like Western civilization is that the more people you kill, then the more normal it is. In fact, what you want to do is run up the death count, because if you were to kill one person, it's not really enough. This is the world we live in which the US rules the world. We can just murder people. Not only murder them, and we post about it, we celebrate it, because this is like, I can't find the video from the Department of War. We celebrate the fact that we're killing people. Like, it makes us feel good. We're loving it. Like, I mean, this is a scary world to live in. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, it's barbaric. But what would you expect? Like I said, what more do you expect from the kind of demons that run the US, the leaders of the world? Not only do we have, like, I've said before, Ted Bundy, Jack the Ripper. I don't know if you want to put him in there. Who else? These are some of the worst serial killers we have in history. Jack the Ripper killed like apparently 5, 6 people, and everyone still talks about him today as like, oh my god, this man was crazy. He murdered 5 women. We had no reason to do that. We murder 5 people a day, and it's like that barely makes the news. So if you think about what that means, some of the worst serial killers in the world have been like U.S. presidents. Obama, drone bomber in chief himself. Trump, with what he's doing in Gaza and what he's doing like into Venezuela right now. Trump's body count in terms of like murders, it's in the thousands. So if you go body for body, Trump and Obama and all these presidents are definitely like some of the worst serial killers in the world. Not only are they the worst serial killers in the history of the world, they're also the leaders of our world. Oh, it's never been more over. Can you imagine if Ted Bundy was US president? What? Like, what do you mean a deranged serial killer is running our country? No, that's what we have. That's literally what we have. These people murder people, go home, kiss their own children goodnight. They're like, oh, I missed you. How was school today? How did everything go? All this, all this, all this. Then they wake up and go and murder other people's children. What are we looking at? Every time I'm in a shop, I'm somewhere else, and I see children, all I can think of is Gaza. I see a baby just looking in his mother's eyes, just looking so like, vulnerable, blah, blah. All I can think of is there are children in Gaza right now. There are babies that look just like this, whose arms have been removed from their bodies because a 2,000-pound bomb was dropped on them. This is what we're doing. Like, we're actively involved in this kind of behavior. Like, the people on these boats, they have families. Like, the people that are sitting here just going around, they mind their business, and they were just blown up. These people have families. These people smile like us. They grieve like us. When they stub their toe, it hurts them too. And we just look at these people, and because it fits our political agenda to murder them, we just do it. And we're meant to be the civilized ones. We're meant to be the leaders of the world. We're meant to be proud of ourselves for, being a very, like, America calls itself a shining city on a hill. Like, we're proud of our civilization. Then we look at people that murder people on the train or go crazy and be like, oh my god, look at these barbaric animals murdering people and attacking people and stabbing people. How can anyone behave this way? All we have to do is take a mirror and just look at what we're doing. Like, if we showed a child this and be like, oh, there are 2 people in the world, someone killed 5, 6 people for whatever reason, because they were deranged and crazy. Because like, if someone's killing people, we're gonna be like, if you kill, there's a reason why if you kill, multiple people, we call you a serial killer. And most of those people, they end up in mental asylums, because we're like, you're actually too deranged to live with society anymore. Like, you've shown us that mentally you're not okay in the head, so you can't live with us. Not only do we have these people that are involved in some of the worst serial killing, some of the most deranged, psychopathic people in our societies, not only do they live amongst us, they actually are leaders. Like, they have more power than us because they're the leaders of our society. That's a commentary on how far we've fallen. I was saying to one of my friends yesterday, I personally don't think as a society we're going to last very long. As humans, because we believe in God and we can create all these kind of conceptual things, we've come to believe that we're so special and unique that actually we're just going to live forever. I don't think so. if you look at the history of the world, humans have existed as a species like this for about what 200,000 years. The world is billions of years old. So I see a world in which in 50, 20, 20,000, 30,000 years, we don't exist anymore. And the way people talk about the dinosaurs, the way we talk about the dinosaurs now, people are going to be talking about us that way. We're just not relevant. But I do have to start getting ready now. It's it's almost 4 p.m. and I'm meant to be going out. So I'm gonna recap. We've talked a lot about Black British women and the Twitter chaos we've been seeing, and I really enjoy talking about social topics. Actually, I think I'm gonna do more of that. If you're following it, there's 52 viewers in here, and there's only one new follower. Guys, please, please, fair God, like let's try and support my work, please. It takes a lot of time to try and put this together. I've been up since probably 8 a.m. trying to find out how to stream to YouTube and TikTok. I'm actually streaming to YouTube as well. I haven't even looked at that because I've been so busy on TikTok, because obviously you guys are my number one priority. But I would appreciate it if you could follow my page as well. I post every day, try and get you guys a summary of the hottest topics going on. I really enjoy what I do as well. I think it's really, really fun. These topics, I've been talking for an hour 22 and it feels like 10 minutes. These topics are things I talk about. Like if I wasn't talking to you guys, I'd be ranting and raving to my friends. Topper's in here. I think she's still in here. I'd be ranting to her about random social stuff all the time. So I think we can really enjoy doing this with each other. The more I can have engagement as well. I think I already get great engagement on my regular posts, but next time when I do a live, I'm gonna try and promote it a bit better. Oh, thank you, Topi, you're still in here. I'm gonna try and promote it a bit better. Topi asked me about my embarrassing buying girls drinks thing, so I'm probably gonna be oversharing a lot more as well. If you ask me a question on here, I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably answer you. So opportunity to get your questions in, and I hope to try and make it like a community side thing. I don't want to just do this for myself. I want to have a situation where in a short period of time I can start hosting live shows. We can all come together, just talk about what's going on around us, man. It's interesting, it's very fascinating. There's also always interesting insights to glean from these things. It's not always just about the way Twitter talks about it, which is so reductive and be like, oh my God, all women are horrible because they're all begging for money. Oh my God, all men are horrible because they're blah blah. There's loads of different insights in there, and I'm someone who believes like everyone's specific insight into any topic matters. Like I'm really obsessed with hearing whatever any random person has to say. Like just tell me what you think, because a lot of the time you're not probably thinking of it in the same way, and that to me is what makes this interesting. Everyone's perspective on social events, political topics, all these kind of things, they are unique, you know. So I very much look forward to having genuinely an exchange of ideas where it's just not me talking for an hour and 24 minutes. I'm very much a Luddite, so I don't know how these things work. But if I can have people on, I think people sometimes have people on to like, join the live and talk stuff like that. I'm still trying to figure it out, so bear with me. But I really, really appreciate 53 people for my first TikTok live stream. Wow, I'm really, really happy, guys, and I'm feeling very humble and emotional. If I was a crier, maybe I would be crying right now. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. And it's every Sunday. That's the best thing about it. One thing about me, I'm gonna stay consistent. Every Sunday, I'm gonna be back here. Now, I can't promise that it's always gonna be. I started today at about 1:50. I usually try and do it same time every Sunday, but obviously I gotta go shake a leg today, so that's why I'm doing it earlier. Usually I probably do it a bit later, but I'm actually happy I did it earlier. So probably around the same time, I'm gonna try and make that fixed and constant. I'm gonna be on live every Sunday talking about the hottest weekly political stuff and social stuff as well. If during the week you have anything you want to send me, like I think my DMs are open to everyone. Any topic you find interesting you want to talk about, because sometimes it's like you also just want to hear what other people are saying about the topic. So you could be like, oh, I have a topic I'm interested in, but let me just hear what people are saying. So I'll very much try to open it up to the audience. I'll say my bit, someone can give me their bit, they can go at me. Obviously right now it feels like, oh my God, this guy's been ranting and raving about women and how inconsiderate they are, or chat. If I had someone in there coming at me saying like, hold on a minute, why are you saying that for? Or about when this happened, when that happened. Honestly, I'd love it. Me, I like the back and forth, and it's gonna be respectful. It's not gonna be in like a nasty way. So feel free to kind of interject and give me your opinion. And again, let's try and get a bit more followers. Let's grow the page. Um, I like to try and grow the page a bit more to try and get more audience engagement, because I can't wait to start doing live shows. Like I want to hear what other people have to say. So if I can grow the page enough to the point where when I announce a live show, it would actually sell decent. I don't mind it's not selling out. Like it's okay. It's an investment stage. So if I can do a live show and people can show up and come and talk about these things, and let's do like a weekly summary or like a monthly summary. I probably won't be doing it every week to start off, but that'll be really, really fun. I think I'd enjoy it. You guys will enjoy it. You meet cool people, you have a good time, and you share opinions about what's going on in the day. We're all philosophers. That's one thing I think about. Like we're all historians. When I started doing What in the World Weekly, one of the things I reflected on was the fact that everyone that's in this live stream right now, I don't really know. I know some of you, I don't know some of you. In about 200 years' time, you're not going to exist anymore. And it's very likely that the story of your life is also not going to exist anymore and be relevant. Because if you think back to your ancestors that lived just 100 years ago, 150 years ago, we don't know who they are. We don't know their story. We might know their names, but that's all we know about them. And I think from a familial perspective, what those people thought matters. When I went to the British Museum, on the wall it says like, well, we don't know a lot about how the ancient Egyptians lived because no one bothered to write down how the average person lived. I thought that was so sad. We have so many stories about the pharaohs and Cleopatra, Amenhotep, like King Tut, all these people, Ramses II. But the average people that made up the country and were the vast majority of the people that existed, no one knows what they thought. Did they like the pharaohs? Did they hate that system? Did they want a democracy? What was their day-to-day life like? No one bothered to write it down. And that made me really sad. And I'm thinking like, it's very important for all of us not to be lost to history. And one of the ways we do that is by documenting our own history, like our views on Trump and Venezuela and Twitter topics about men being inconsiderate and women begging for money and all these kind of things. Those things matter, you know. And when we do stuff like this, we are documenting our own history. And I think that's really, really great, a great thing to do. So again, I can't stress enough how I do want you guys to be a part of it because I don't just want to document history by myself. Like that's boring. I want to hear other people. Like history, if you think about the documentation of it, it's more complete when there's different views, different perspectives, different viewpoints. If you just hear one person's view, it's very biased, isn't it? So like it'd be a great thing for us to kind of pass down and be like, this is what we thought about the hottest topics of our time. You know, if when something was happening, like when Rome was being overrun by the Vandals, yeah, we heard about, Herodotus and all these historians writing about it. What about what the average Romans thought? I think that's really interesting. Like, were they terrified? Were they happy? Like, yeah, F this monarchy, let's get them down, whatever. So we're living through incredible times. Like a lot of the times we're living through now, it's gonna appear in our history books. When we learn about when I was in school, we learned about Vietnam, obviously like World War II, all those kind of things. Did you ever learn about how the average German was feeling about it? My friend's actually calling me because I should be getting ready to go out, so I do have to go soon to wrap this up. But the point is, um, we have to also document our own history. So that's the main reason why I do this, and that's why I really enjoy doing this because we are documenting history as we go along, and that is what in the World Weekly is about. I think that's such a great name. I'm so proud of myself for coming up with that. What in the World Weekly? It does what it says on the tin. I do need to fix up my branding and stuff. So if you know anyone that does branding and thumbnails and all these things, please put them in touch with me because I know my what do you call the thing, my not flyer, what do you call the thing now, the thing that used to my logo is horrible. So on that note, I will leave it there. Thank you. 57 viewers we're up to. This is amazing. Thank you so much for watching. These are the topics I talked about this week. If you're someone that has joined in the last 5-10 minutes or so, I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna try and find a way to get this like the live recording. So it is gonna be on my YouTube as well. So it's recorded on YouTube. If you want to watch everything back on YouTube, you can do that. I don't know how to do that on TikTok for now. I'm gonna try and figure that out. But until then, you can check my YouTube What in the World Weekly, same handle, and I will see you guys unfailingly next Sunday. Your grandparents would be like, "Oh, if time allows us, if God wills it, we'll be here next Sunday." The way we're living right now, we might as well be saying that because nuclear war, other types of wars, God knows what could happen. But thank you so much for you guys watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Topper. Give me a round of applause. And I will speak to you guys next Sunday. Bye. Adios. Arrivederci and all that kind of stuff. How do I end this live stream?